The badge was real. The clearance official. The calm confidence in his step said it all. Adrian Pierce was exactly who he claimed to be. And yet, on that quiet Tuesday morning inside Denver's sleek Summit Corporate Plaza, that simply wasn't enough. He showed up just before 10 a.m., wearing a silver-gray shirt and dark slacks. A black leather messenger bag hanging at his side. Nothing out of the ordinary, except maybe the way he spoke softly into his wireless earbud as he stood by the onyx wall, waiting. Looked every bit the executive prepping for a high-stakes meeting. But Chloe Davies, a junior admin at the front desk, had other ideas. She watched Adrian with a sharp eye, whispering to her coworker, "He's pacing, talking to himself. Something's off." Instead of saying anything directly, she grabbed the phone and called security. Her report? There's a man acting suspicious in the lobby. No mention of the badge, no nod to his calm demeanor. Just that he seemed out of place 8 floors up. Adrian's contact was running late. So, while he waited, Chloe's vague call had already reached Denver PD. Officers Kevin Stone and Maya Santos showed up minutes later. The dispatcher's description was vague too. Black male, early 40s. Possibly scouting the building. Stone pushed through the lobby doors first. "Sir, can we have a word?" Adrian looked up, mildly surprised but composed. "Sure, what's this about?" Step away from the wall, hands visible. Adrian didn't flinch. "I'm with the agency," he said quietly. "Here for a scheduled briefing." Stone narrowed his eyes. "Agency of what? CIA? Got ID?" "In my bag. Let me get it, sir." Before Adrian could reach, Stone barked, "Don't reach," his hand twitching toward his holster. Adrian froze. "You just asked me for ID," he said evenly, but firm. Santos stepped closer. "Place the bag down. Open it slowly." Adrian complied, calm but deliberate. Inside, a metal badge holder. Santos pulled it out, flipped it open. Photo, badge, credentials. All legit. Still, Stone stayed on edge. "We'll need to confirm," he muttered. "You can call Agent Rachel Chun at the Dallas office," Adrian offered. Neither officer made the call. "Are you armed?" Stone asked. "Yes," Adrian replied. "Issued Glock 19, concealed, right hip. Fully authorized." By now, Adrian was sitting on the cold lobby floor, hands visible, every move measured. He said nothing more, just watched Stone like a cat waiting for a mouse to slip. Santos, uneasy, whispered to Stone, "We should radio this in." Stone stayed silent. The tension in the room thickened. Then the elevator chimed. Out stepped Rachel Chun, sharp in a navy pantsuit, badge gleaming, coffee in hand. Her eyes widened as she took in the scene. Adrian on the floor, 2 officers looming. "What's going on here?" Her voice cut through the tension. Adrian offered a dry, "Good morning, Rachel." Her gaze locked onto the officers. "Why is my top agent on the floor?" Stone stammered. "Ma'am, we received a call. He was acting suspicious." Chun wasn't buying it. Did he resist? Did he threaten anyone? "No," Santos admitted. "Then why is he on the floor?" Chun's tone sharpened. "Because he's black and wearing an earbud." Stone had no answer. Adrian stood slowly. 9 minutes, he said quietly. "That's how long I was treated like a threat." Chun's jaw tightened. "You're cleared, Adrian." Then she faced the officers. "If you need confirmation, my number's on this card, but let me make it clear, he's an 8-year agency veteran." Neither cop said a word. Chloe, still at the desk, stared down at the floor, guilt creeping in. She hadn't imagined this outcome when she made that call. She never expected a federal agent on the ground, weapon nearly drawn, because of her hunch. Adrian said nothing more. He gathered his bag, checked its contents, and gave Chun a nod. Calm voice, but behind his eyes, frustration simmered, an old wound reopened. Just then, building security arrived. The head of the team, a tall man named Daryl, leaned in toward Chun. "We reviewed surveillance footage," he said low, "and there's something you need to see." Chun raised an eyebrow. "What now?" There was another man here, 5 minutes before Adrian arrived. He left a small black case under the planter near the north wall. Adrian's eyes sharpened. "Where is it now?" "We haven't retrieved it yet," Daryl admitted. "Waiting on bomb squad protocols." The footage showed the man glancing over his shoulder, deliberately. The tension in the room seemed to coil tighter. Chun straightened. "Secure the lobby. Evacuate non-essential personnel. Lock the elevators." She turned to Adrian. "You're with me." Chloe looked up. Alarmed. Wait, bomb squad. No one answered. Adrian moved fast, issuing voice commands through his earpiece. Patch me to ops. Possible drop confirmed. Coordinates locked. Scrub audio. Chun nodded sharply. We need eyes on the perimeter. Someone called Dallas. Activate contingency protocol. The ticking wasn't metaphorical anymore. Something had been left behind, and it was dangerous. We've been partners for 3 years, Chun said coldly. Check his record. She tossed a file to Santos. Adrian had more commendations than some agents earned in a decade. Santos accepted Chun's business card. Stone didn't. Chloe stepped forward, voice trembling. I wasn't sure. Didn't want to take risks. Adrian looked at her, not angry, just exhausted. You want irony? His voice flat. I was standing right next to the building directory the whole time. You could have just asked my name. Chloe said nothing. Mouth opened, then closed. No excuse. Chun stepped closer to the officers, voice now sharp as steel. Right before I arrived, Agent Pierce was reviewing a transfer application. A police officer applying for the Cybercrimes Task Force. That file was on his desk this morning. Her eyes flicked toward Stone. Wait, you're kidding, Santos muttered. Chun didn't blink. Officer Kevin Stone, your name's on the application. Stone looked stunned. I didn't know. Chun stared him down. You detailed your academy scores, field experience, even your bravery commendation from last year. Strong file. Adrian folded his arms. I'd marked it for an interview. Stone's face flushed, shame replacing confusion. The air thickened again, but this time it wasn't tension, it was accountability. You were 15 minutes away from speaking to the agency, Chun added. Instead, you had a man on the floor, weapon nearly drawn, and a federal badge ignored. No one spoke. Chloe shrank behind the counter, smaller than ever. Adrian's voice stayed steady. This is why we talk about bias. It doesn't always look like violence. Sometimes it's a phone call, silence, or a hand hovering near a holster for 9 minutes. Stone muttered, I didn't realize. Exactly, Chun said sharply. That's the problem. Adrian turned to Santos. You saw the ID. You knew it was real. Santos nodded slowly. I did, and I didn't speak up. Adrian nodded faintly. We don't choose the moments that define us, only how we respond. The elevator chimed again, and finally a manager from Apex Solutions stepped out, confused. Agent Pierce, we had a briefing scheduled. Adrian exhaled, grabbed his bag, still on. But just before stepping inside, he paused, looked back at Stone, frozen in place. I want you to remember one thing, Adrian said quietly, voice steady but piercing. The only difference between you and me in that lobby today? I never doubted who I was. Stone said nothing. For the first time, he looked less like an officer and more like a man reckoning with something he couldn't erase. Adrian stepped into the elevator beside Chun. Chloe stayed behind the desk, clutching her phone like a shield, eyes downcast. Her silence now spoke louder than her call ever did. Chun pressed the 8th floor button. As the doors began to close, Adrian murmured, almost to himself, 9 minutes. That's all it took to nearly destroy everything. Upstairs, the shift was immediate. Adrian moved with quiet professionalism. Pain tucked deep beneath practiced calm. The briefing went on. Files opened. The job continued, because that's what agents do. An hour later, the session ended. As Adrian packed his laptop, Chun offered, want company on the way down? He shook his head. No need. She nodded. I'll call you later. Back in the lobby, Adrian didn't expect anyone to still be there. But Santos stood near a pillar, posture relaxed. When he walked past, she stepped forward. Agent Pierce, she said. He turned. I waited, she said, because I needed to say this. No one told me to. Adrian said nothing, just listened. You were right. I saw your ID. Knew it was real. And I let it all unfold anyway. I froze. Didn't stand up when I should have. Adrian studied her. She wasn't putting on an act. She meant it. You still have time, he said softly, to choose what kind of officer you want to be. She nodded slowly. Adrian gave a respectful nod, then walked away. The building's revolving doors opened in front of him. This time, no one stopped.